All right, settle down, everybody. Settle down. Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is another Saturday night. It is close to 7 p.m. You know what that means? Next podcast is live. Yo, huge shout out to everybody coming and checking out the show right from the beginning. The support and everything, absolutely incredible. What is up, everybody? What is going on, yo? I'm having a great Saturday. I could not wait to get started with this show. First and foremost, one big shout out to One Big Latino being the first one in the chat. What is up, Latino? It is good to see you in the chat. And yes, I will do it for you. Battletoads! Guys, we have a really, really interesting show tonight, so you might want to smack that thumbs up button. You might want to share this out on whatever platform you talk games, whether it's Facebook, which I guess is still a thing, Twitter, which is where I am mostly, or wherever else you talk games, because this is going to be a fire episode. We are going in on some things, gaming news topics that not a lot of people are talking about right now, but are really, really interesting topics, really, really trying to bring out the opinions tonight on this show. So, without further ado, I am going into the intros, and first off is that business gamer himself. He's always a part of the starting lineup here every Saturday, Predator!
My shit was muted. My bad. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm over here in the kitchen, back and forth, trying to run my daughter some places and shit tonight. So I'll be in and out of the podcast, but I will be here listening. So I'll make sure I keep K-Mega in check.
All right, there we go. Yeah, we definitely need somebody for that, man. He don't listen to me anymore, so but it's gonna be interesting. Yo, next on the list, and since he said the name, coming live from the 405, and he's just trying to talk to the intelligent gamer out there, K-Mega!
What's happening? The only people could put me in check is the Lord Almighty himself. Not even the angels can stop K-Mega's wrath. Whoa. So let's get it. So the thing of it is right here, I'm pretty excited about tonight, the topics. Happy for everybody having a lot of views and stuff on YouTube, man. It looks like they might fix the algorithms and things like that, other than me, because I'm constantly getting copyright because of my cave flavor that I'll be showing. But other than that, man, congrats to everybody, man, that's doing the damn thing, man. Look like Xbox Podcasts are back.
Oh, yeah.
And good shit, man. Ready to have a good show.
Well, brother, in terms of the copyright, there's a couple things I do to try to skirt by that or get around it. So when we go off air, I'll give you a couple tips or whatnot.
I got 5 in a row. I think I might have,
dude.
I think I might have skipped. I think this show might have got skipped. I have no idea, but I still. It's still maintaining, man, and we still looking good, man. So I can't complain overall. I'm just like, damn, just fighting them, and it takes
5 in a row though, brother. Yeah, I don't understand this. Like, you buy the games, right? So you own the games. Like, you have a YouTube channel. What the hell is the big deal? Like, I don't understand.
It is so crazy because I got copyrighted twice for the same game. I was showing Akuza, and because I didn't really have time to put everybody's gameplay in, and so I put in just one that we had previous, and I was showing Akuza's Raft, and I got hit by the same people. But at least that didn't take about damn near a month. That only took about 3 or 4 days, and they was like, "Oh shit, yeah, we can't do that. We already hit them before." So it's great. You would think it would be the music that I play at the beginning, but it's not that. It's always the damn gameplay, and I'm thinking that shit is crazy. But damn, brother, it is what it is. But as long as I'm with them, it's good.
I got a couple tips for you, man. Like I said, we'll talk when we get off the air.
All right.
Yo, I want to give a huge shout out to Joe Hansel, first time watcher of the show, coming in and checking out the show for the first time. Sit back, relax, brother. I think you are gonna have an absolute blast. We got some fire topics tonight. We do have to get through one more intro. Last but certainly not least, you guys might know him as the gearhead out there, but believe it or not, he does play other games. my brother Crispy.
What is up? What is up, chat? Let's do this, man. I'm ready. These are great topics, and you guys are about to see some fire, baby. Let's go.
Oh, woo. Damn! Are you bringing the fire? Or is it just a group effort, man? I don't know.
I think with the chemistry on this panel, it's gonna be a group effort. Let's do it.
There we go, guys. And with that being said, we are diving into the topics, and I want to give a huge shout out to Xbox because just this past week, just very recently, the Xbox One X has officially turned 2 years old. And I feel like it's just yesterday when we first got kind of like information about this system, you know, talking about true 4K and the power underneath the hood, all that good stuff. And it is officially 2 years old. So now I think it's a good time to take a look back. You know, coming next year, we got the new series of hardware. We got the Scarlet coming out. We got the PlayStation 5 coming out. I think now is a good time to kind of look back and see if the Xbox One X has lived up to expectations. Now, first and foremost, I want to say personally, when they first announced the X, they talked about high fidelity VR. And then, you know, later on down the road, they kind of walked that back and said, well, you know, we're watching that gaming community to see what goes on with it, if it grows or whatnot. So on that side of it, definitely Xbox One X did not hold up its side of the bargain. It did not hold up to what Phil said originally. But when it comes to true 4K gaming, the power under the hood, you know, the graphic fidelity and everything that went with the games that, you know, when they announced the X, they hyped up for everybody. I am going to go to my brother K Mega first. Mega, first off, the Xbox One X is 2 years old, man. We got to give them, you know, a shout out for that. But I got to ask you, man, has it lived up to the hype? Has it done, first off, what you wanted it to do when you first heard about it? But then I want to know what you think in terms of the business side. Do you think that it is exceeded expectations when it comes to the Xbox division, brother?
Okay, so first month, let me start with the con, which is basically about the whole VR situation, and then Phil had to pretty much eat crow on that because we still haven't seen anything about VR. Even though, you know, I don't care about anything about.
You're like two plates of crow for that one, man.
Yeah, even though I don't care anything about the iHerpes machine. But the thing of it is that there are people that do want to have an opportunity to play VR games on Xbox. So, and the Xbox One X would be the premier console to show it the best than any other console out there. But again, didn't happen. So that's a negative. Achieving from the rumors that we were hearing that all these games are going to be 4K, 60, you know, compromises, all that stuff. I don't know if that was something that was from Xbox staff or if that was just hyperbole from other people, from journalists, things like that. But regardless, it's not the case at all. Those are the two negatives. We don't know about the sales of the Xbox. I mean, there's people that give that indication from what they see from certain sites, things like that. So if you want to look at that as a con, then that's fine. But for the positives, the Xbox One X has delivered in every way, shape, or form, and especially looking at it as a mid-gen console, not as a new console, but a mid-gen console. There's not been anything more powerful than this beast, and I cannot tout it enough. Also, I have another con to say on it, and that's when people got it, including me, where it started overheating, having problems with that, and had to get it replaced. Even though it got replaced for free, that's still inconvenient, especially when you pay as much as you did for that. But when we're early adopters, I think pretty much we almost all have to deal with that type of situation. But that's a con right there. So I think that's about 3 or 4 cons. Now, the positives. It does deliver for a mid-gen console. It's absolutely fantastic. Also, it delivers on Blu-ray movies. I mean, I put the I put in any movies that I got that's ultra Blu-ray.
You couldn't
Look,
even think of a title. You're like, I put in all
I've
the
got
movies I got.
Black Panther. I got
There you go.
the John Wick. I got Alita. And then just looking at all these movies, and I'm just like, damn, this thing is great. Now, if you got somebody that's got $1,000 Blu-ray player, then no, it doesn't compare. But in a sense of what the Xbox One X could deliver on the movie end of that, it's great. When it's showing games in HDR and like you said, the high fidelity, it's unmatched. And matter of fact, the truth of the matter is that the Xbox One X was the console to make me buy a QLED, because when I have a Sony Bravia, and when I played Assassin's Creed, and I've never been a fan of any of the Assassin's Creeds, not like that. I thought a couple of them were cool, but when I played Origins, I seen it and I'm like, wow. And I remember I posted a couple of pictures of it and like, this shit is ridiculous. So it made me go ahead and get a QLED, and then seeing the difference, like it's unmatched to any other console out there. So for the price that it was, I thought it was very comparable, because it was dusting my gaming PC, so it made me have to upgrade my gaming PC. That's
crazy when you think about it, because at the core, at the CPU core, you're still dealing with Jaguar cores, those old ass Jaguar cores. But in the X, man, they modified the crap out of it, so it made you upgrade your PC in the long run.
Yeah, it made me upgrade my PC in the long run, because I wanted my PC to be on par with what the X could provide for gaming. And then, thank goodness for that. That's and as a person I'm still in that realm of like, look, graphics do matter, but graphics isn't the all end all. But the X made me started realizing, and I understand PC fans can say, "Oh, hold my beer" type shit.
Yeah,
but
hold my beer.
hold my beer type shit. But the thing of it, as a console gamer, primarily, it made me look at things a whole bunch different. It almost made me a graphic whore, to the degree of, like I said, I had to upgrade shit, everything. So, listen, I mean, what we're going to be seeing from, and then also the other positive is that the prelude to what the X, what the X is now, and what the future is going to be to what the Scarlet is going to be like. I'm even more excited. Mm-hmm. And then last but not least is how powerful the machine is with those old cores to make some of these old games like Ninja Gaiden and some of these back compact games look absolutely stunning. Like the Final Fantasies, you got to be kidding me! Like it's like night and day. So it's I think the system is well worth the money that it was at the time when it was launched, and now I'm seeing that on Black Friday it's going to be $350. It is way more positives than negatives when it comes to this console. So happy birthday!
Nice, and that is a great deal. A couple shout outs real quick. First off, shout out to Christopher Hart, who said the PS5 will have all that. Well, brother, I feel bad for you, man, because we have all that stuff right now. I mean, $350 for an X, bro. You might be able to go out there and grab an X on Black Friday. Nobody's gonna be mad at you, man. We will all welcome you to the community, brother. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. And a huge shout out to our brother Squeamish, who just celebrated, I believe, his 27th birthday. So shout out to you, brother. 27. You're a young buck, man. You're still a young buck, man. I just want to
happy birthday, Squeamish.
Nice. Now, Mega, real quick before I go to the rest of the panel, I did ask you, do you think it fulfilled expectations when it came to the Xbox division? Do you think that they are happy with what they have seen?
Absolutely. Just for the main fact is now, they don't compare the Xbox One X to the PlayStation 4. Or the Pro. They compare it to PC games. Mm-hmm. That's a win for itself. Like, you don't see they still will do the PlayStation Pro with comparisons with the X on occasion. But when you see those digital foundries, it's mostly just like, well, PlayStation 4 Pro with the Xbox One S or something like that. They don't really put in. And then the X it shows that it's mostly always powerful. There's a few games, like I think there was Ace Combat, and then I think that there was supposedly Call of Duty, not as good as the Pro or something like that or whatever. But for the most part, the Xbox One X has performed better than anything else out there, even more so than a lot of diehard PC gamers out there that's still gaming on 720. They're now moving up to 1080p. So it's the standard, and it's something that I said also was basically that the X was one of those things that was future proof. I said that, and I remember I getting a lot of hate for me saying that. It's because while the price of the X will continue to go down and be more attractive to gamers who may want to try to dip back onto Xbox once they start having those games come out that people have been saying that is missing. That's going to be a console that's going to be there for gamers to play in 4K 30, 4K 60, whatever type of game that they want, and then make them jump over later. So that's what I'm saying. Like, instead of worrying about what the S is doing, I think the X is going to be a long-lasting console for the future of Xbox going into the future, in my opinion.
All right, I got you, man. A bunch of great opinions there, and I can definitely roll with you on 99.9% of that. One thing I do want to say again, and yo, shout out to the Don who's in the chat, brother. If you have any free time, man, jump into the hangout with us. We're talking about the second year birthday of the Xbox One X and whether or not it has lived up to expectations. Because the reason why I say that is because, to me, it's a true kind of like monument to engineering that they're using the Jaguar cores in the Xbox One X, but yet it is pretty much the best performing, for me, the absolute quietest Xbox I ever had. And the games, when they're run on it, look absolutely incredible. They run absolutely incredible. You know, barring any types of bugs or glitches that are actually in the game, from developers and development and stuff like that, I feel they have done a great job with this system, which is another thing that K Mega said makes me really look forward to the Scarlet, because damn, if they did that with this and these Jaguar cores, can you imagine what they're cooking up for 2020, man? It's incredible. All right, Crispy, man. First off, Crispy, I don't remember, basically. I know you told me at some point in time. Do you play on an Xbox One X?
Of course I do.
All right, just making sure. I'm just making sure, man. Just, because I would have tackled this from a different vantage point if that were the case. But, so, Xbox One X is 2 years old. Let me know, in terms of gaming for you, if it has lived up to the expectations and everything that we saw when they were talking about it before its release. And then, of course, let me know what you think in terms of the Xbox division. If you feel like this thing is putting a smile on Phil Spencer and the rest of the crew's face right now. So, what's your deal, man?
Well, let's be honest here for a second. They didn't deliver on certain things they kind of promised. I mean, we're not going to...
No, they promised. Well, I can't say promise. They stated.
Yeah.
Okay? They stated.
Yeah, so we know they stated that they were supposed to be VR, which I was intrigued by this because of, like, the, I mean, remember the HoloLens thing with the Minecraft and everything? Like, that got people amped up for what they were going to do with it. Mm-hmm. Do I think that the actual console could handle that? Probably. I'm pretty darn sure it would actually, but the high fidelity, I don't think was the problem. I think the problem was the wireless. And I think a lot of people ignore that fact, but now we're just getting into like wireless VR headsets now. So that, I just say null and void. They screwed up. They shouldn't have said that to begin with. As far as the games, it's hard to say that they did a great job because a lot of the games that come out, some of them don't say Xbox One X enhanced. Even Outer Worlds, I don't see that there. What I mean?
There's no HDR in that, so I can't see when the HDR gets prompted on the TV because there is none. So there's no HDR in that. So,
and then that's that's something that, you know, some people might have a problem with. But as far as the older games, like even like, because I started playing Gears 4 on the S, and then I played it on the X, and it looked totally different as far as like seeing those textures and how it ran too. Like a lot of people ignore the fact that like the frames per second when you're running a console that's like higher end like the X, it feels different. And that's something that I don't understand when people gripe on this console, and they say, well, sometimes PS4 Pro has better graphics or this or that, or has better frame rate or this or that. Well, everything's optimized for a certain console. Sometimes certain consoles will say, okay, you have to hit this resolution or you have to hit this frames per second. You know what I mean? So that they're constantly changing that stuff. And on top of that, we have to understand that like all these older games look way better, like way better. And that's on a back end scale. That's not even.
Dude, last weekend I was playing Panzer Dragoon Orta, which is an OG Xbox game, and I could not believe the fidelity that game was coming through at, man. I mean, it still looked dated. Don't get me wrong, right? It still looked dated. It's an old ass game, but how it looked and performed on the X, dude, I was shocked, man. Absolutely.
So
shocked.
I'll give you one example. I beat Arkham Knight, okay, on the original Xbox One. All right, I booted it up like a couple months ago on the X. It looked totally different. And I'm not saying like, you know, it's the same game, but the textures and everything else were there. And I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to purchase a new game. Nothing. And this is something that the Xbox has been doing for a while. They are up-resing, they are doing all these things on the back end, and they're not even saying a word about it. And maybe they should advertise it. You know what I mean? I don't know, because they're not saying a word, and people keep calling them out like they're not doing anything. Well, just because it doesn't say Xbox One enhanced doesn't mean it's not enhanced. You know what I mean? And you have to realize that. I mean, they have so many backup games. They just run better on this console. Yeah. This console is a higher, you want to go PC. It's a higher PC components involved into that console. So it's going to run shit better, no matter if it's frame rate, if it's actual textures or anything else. Mm-hmm. You know, some games all of a sudden have HDR if you play on it. Some don't. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things involved.
Well, my TV will let me know about the HDR part, because the HDR comes up in the top right corner of my TV, and I'm like, yes.
And I got the S. I got the S because of the HDR, to be honest with you. I knew about HDR a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I said, you have HDR on here, and it looked different from the original Xbox One. It did, because I've played on all three. So it's something that, you know, once you got the X, you said, I need a 4K TV, or you bought a 4K TV for the X, because in realism, that's the reason why you purchase it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Crispy, I got to ask you, because you did cover kind of like for your side of it, kind of like K-Mega. So I got to ask you, in terms of the Xbox division at Microsoft, do you think that this X, what they had planned, do you think it fulfilled expectations on their kind of like business level?
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did either, to be really honest with you.
And here's why. Because they thought they were going to sell the hell out of this thing, and they didn't. And I truly believe that, because they're counting all the consoles, but in general, I think the S way outsold the X. All right, the
cheaper
only
price,
thing,
man.
Yeah, but and that's where we come down to price. Like everybody, you know, next gen is going to be based off of a price, I think, more than anything. But that's besides the point. The fact is that they are now thinking, I think that's why we're not going to get 2 SKUs. I think they're thinking this is going to be the base model for the new generation, as we want to call it, even though they're going to go back and forward compat. We all know that they're going to try to have everything on everything. It might not be feasible at some point if the dev doesn't want to do it, but the X is fully capable of running anything the Scarlet does, in my opinion. Whatever the Scarlet is, I know it might be like really next gen, but still, like the X definitely is capable of running any game that's going to be developed for the Scarlet. So I think they're thinking now this is going to be the base model. Imagine the X being $200 at some point.
Holy
That would
crap.
be insane, right? I mean,
future proof. That's what I'm talking about.
and that's what I purchased. I purchase TVs and stuff like that. I try to purchase them future proof. Like I don't want to replace it for another 10 years. That's the way I think.
That's the way I think as well, bro. Except for consoles. When a new console comes around, I look at the features, I look at the launch lineup, I look at everything, and I definitely want the new console day one when it comes out. That's the only thing that's different. Otherwise, when it comes to TVs and stuff like that, I try to get a TV that's kind of like like you said, it's future proof. So this way, I don't have to worry about it for like years. I got it. I'm gonna play on it, and it's gonna be great. So.
Yeah, and like if you purchase a good TV that has a good frame rate, if you purchase a TV with less than 120 hertz, don't even bother, because you're not gonna get the experience that the Scarlet's gonna give you. You're not gonna get it. You have to get at least 120 hertz. Mine's 240. Mine's like, it's top notch, and I paid a shit ton of money when I bought it. You know what I mean? And now that I bought it, the 10 years that I'm probably going to get out of it, I say, I'm good. I actually made my money back, even though at that point in time,
you got your money's worth, basically, and then some.
Yeah, because I'm not purchasing a TV in 5 years. You know what I mean? I'm purchasing a TV in 10 years. This is a hypothetical. I don't know when I'm going to purchase a new TV, by the way. Just saying. But that's the point. Like, the X, I don't have to necessarily upgrade to the Scarlet. I really don't feel that I have to. My face and my eyes already melt enough. So, like, I could wait a little while, wait until tax time the following year, and then purchase it, because, I'm thinking about my money in my pocket. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, apparently they're still going to have the option where I can pay monthly, which is kind of cool.
Well, yeah, and there's a little hitch with that whole paying monthly, because if you get an Xbox One X now at the Microsoft Store through that program where you pay monthly, you actually have to own the X for a certain amount of time. You have to have a certain amount of payments in before you can trade in the X for the Scarlet when it comes out.
Yeah, well, there's
a little hook there, brother.
Has anybody bought anything from Rent-A-Center when you're paying freaking interest
on
everything?
Did, and we were paying through the roof.
Yeah, you pay a lot more.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So this isn't such a bad thing. I'm sorry. At least they're not like trying to really screw you. You know what I mean? They're giving you the option. Like me, it's like, do I pay the $800 I got to pay for oil, or do I just run some electric heaters and just have it, at a certain temperature? If it somehow gets below that, then the heat kicks on. I'm going to take the monthly payment just because I know what I'm getting. You know what I mean?
All right, man. That's really interesting. Yo, shout out to Joe Hansel in the chat, basically asking if Xbox had the power at launch with the Xbox Scarlet, what would be the features that you want and not want? So, I'm gonna do that to you, Crispy, and then we're gonna get to Predator on the whole birthday for Xbox One X. But dude, so you have the most powerful system with the Scarlet. Just really quickly, what features do you think you would want on the system, and what would you not want?
I want the capability of 120 frames per second. I want it. It's not necessarily going to happen. It's up to the devs. I also want VR. And I'm not saying like...
Saying that for Sonic, man. Come on, you are.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I have been interested in VR for a long time. The problem is what I see is not something I would play. You understand what I'm saying? If they can somehow make it look almost as good as what's on your TV, I might be interested. You know what I mean? So if they're able to do that, and then there's no wires involved, because I would probably fucking fall on my ass. Just saying. But the fact is that you have to make things backwards and forward compatible.
Okay.
And the one downside I see is that we're gonna get one game or one gaming dev that just cannot do everything. And I think that's where we're kind of like eh. And then, probably for something that I wouldn't want is like some kind of like camera on it or something like that. It would just make me feel uncomfortable.
All right,
I'd feel like
you want VR, but you don't want the camera.
no, I don't okay,
So
because
you want
we've heard
completely cordless VR experience with all the sensors put into the headset is what you're basically saying.
yeah,
All right.
exactly. But and that the camera could be used for other things, and I get like some of these, companies are starting to think about streaming and everything else. But I would still kind of feel uncomfortable because, like I could do a stream and not want to have myself on, but then that light will turn on or something. I'd be like, am I here? Like, are you seeing me? Like,
Hi. Yeah.
so like those little things that like they are probably thinking about adding. I still want discs. A discless console as a next generation does not make sense to me. I mean, we still have GameStop, even though they're kind of dying, but they're still there, and you should be able to purchase the games that you want to play, whether it be digital, physical,
Yo,
whatever.
I think Crispy's running for office or something because I think he's trying to hit every single point from the gaming community out there. Everybody, vote for Crispy.
Right.
I'll leave it at that. I don't want to.
All right, yeah, no, because we do. This is a quick kind of like add-on topic from Joe Hansel in the chat. First time watcher of the show, and I just want to throw my 2 cents in real quick. Then I'm gonna go to K Mega, and then I'm gonna go to Pred. But for me, when it comes down to it, features. Now, first off, I do have to say, when it came to the Xbox One and the PS4, what they did with the game DVR and stuff like that, I never expected it. I never expected being able to record gameplay, go in and edit the gameplay, complete with voiceover, everything like that, right from the console. And I feel like I want them to flesh that out more, especially on Xbox's side. They need to go in and they need to upgrade Upload Studio. Like to an extreme amount. Like I don't know. It feels like that's their redheaded stepchild right now, and they're completely ignoring it. But I think they need to do that. Not only that, flesh out with the streaming platforms being able to, I don't know, put in an overlay and stuff like that. Like if you create an overlay on the computer, you're able to download it into your system and put it on your game. While you're doing that, I think that would be an awesome add-on feature or an expansion of, the features that we have now. But other than that, I do like to be surprised because, like I said, when it came to like the game DVR and stuff like that we got this generation, I would have never been able to call that coming from the 360 PS3 era without any type of rumors or anything like that. I would never have been able to say if somebody's like, well, what are you going to want from the next Xbox and PlayStation? I want a game DVR where I can edit my gameplay and stuff. I would have never have thought of that. So just expand on that, and then whatever other surprises, I can't wait to see what they have in store. But how about you, K Mega?
I mean, just have it the way that, just have the enhancements that you have now. I do agree with Upload Studio. Decide if you're going to really go all in with it or just eradicate it altogether.
Blend it in with Mixer, and then you'll be able to get like everything all together. I don't understand why they don't do that.
It needs to be one or the other. Get rid of it or enhance it. So that's the only thing that I have with Upload Studio, because I enjoyed learning what I could with Upload Studio, but and I know that there's people that's been trying to use their Upload Studio. There's times that I can use it, and there's times that I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But that to me, the one thing that I will not accept for the Scarlet is games not being not performing like for shooters, racers, fighters, not all being 60 frames per second.
Damn,
You have
you're on
to
the
have
FPS too, man.
well, I'm not, I don't care about like big open worlds because we're still going to get those games that's going to be out there that's going to look crazy insane. And then still going to be 30 frames per second. Like for big open world games, I have no problem with that. It's not like, I know that there's some people that are sticklers about it. But for me on that end, but when it comes to racers, fighters, shooters, all games has to be 60 frames per second because feeling the difference between that is different. Now, I mean, is it a deal breaker in a sense with certain games? Nah, but with those type of genres, I feel that that console for the price that I'm anticipating that it's going to be, it has to hit those markers. No,
I
what
was
was
gonna
you
say, brother. I think one of the features you would want is an extension to your console to where it goes into kind of like a bucket with water like down on the ground, so this way you can get like your foot massage thing going on while you're playing the game, and it's all from your system. How about that one, man?
Well, no, I mean that's fine. Like I said, it's not a deal breaker, but so let me say like this, okay? For Need for Speed, we'll talk about that here in a little bit, right?
Ooh, yes, we will.
Need for Speed, it's 30 frames per second. When I turn on my Xbox and I want to jump in to play the older games, they should all be 60 frames, just because they're older games. Newer games, I'm not going to have. For newer games, for my fighters, things like that. If these games are going to go crazy bananas with what they're trying to do on the tech side of it, and then they say, "Oh, we got to make it 30 frames per second," I'm not going to trip. But if they're just like the same way style of what we've been getting for our fighters and things like that, then I would expect for those games to be 60 frames. That's just my thought process on it. But for, like I said, big open world games, I'm not caring because what we're going to be seeing graphically with those games are going to be well, just crazy impressive. So basically, more so what I would want is to have those options, more of those options if I want high fidelity or if I want frames per second. Maybe
Nice.
that's what I think that I'm trying to say overall is that, look, give gamers the option on all of the games that's going to be coming out and let them choose.
All right, brother. And on that note, before we go to Pred, I had one more thought, one more idea. I am an old school gamer, all right? When it comes down to it, the first system that I owned was the original Nintendo. So why not have a game in the box and 2 controllers? Can I get 2 controllers back, people? I'm just saying.
Never.
Come on, man.
Yeah, for the controllers you got, you'll have more than 2.
Dude, we're imagining. We're just what we want, brother.
Do you know what I got to say to that? Is that, Xbox is constantly pushing co-op and like couch play with like all of their games. Like that is actually a logical thing. Just saying.
Yeah, thank you, Crispy. I'm glad you see it my way. No, so Predator, are you here, Pred?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Pred. We got a question.
Finally, you get to me. That's fine.
We got it. Well, I'm sorry. K Mega is really long winded tonight, man. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah.
You've been through a topic and a half, and I'm just not getting to talk.
But yeah. Check this out. Like Joe Hansel in the chat asked, all right, if Project Scarlet has the power, basically when it comes down to it, what features would you want or not want from the system?
Okay, well, first let me adjust and back up because I didn't get a chance to talk on the first topic.
I was going to do that right after this one, but
okay, that's fine.
First, man.
All right, so what would I want in the next one? Custom consoles would be nice. Because we didn't get that many of those at all. We got Gears, and I think maybe for the X itself, not the Slam or the S or the original. Just for the
you're
X.
Moving goalposts right there, man. We had custom consoles this generation.
For the X?
No.
That's what I'm talking about. We didn't get any for the X. If I don't remember correctly, maybe Gears.
We have not.
The Gears was the S or was it X?
Gears was the X.
Gears 5 was the X.
Gears 4 was the X. Gears 4 was the S.
Yeah.
Gears 5
only
was
one.
the X.
That's the only one I can think of that they had.
Well, hold on. Battlefield had that two-tone. It went from like a
No, no, no,
goldish
no,
to a
No,
black.
he's
no.
talking about what
Ah.
Gears 5
Like,
is.
Dude, I'm
yeah,
trying
oh,
here.
no,
I'm
no, no.
trying, man.
All right.
No.
And yeah, I like someone just put in the chat, no Russian. The best custom consoles weren't even for sale. Like they had some that were like, you know, like they would like have like 3 made, and they have a giveaway or something like that. Or you had to
Yeah,
like
the Jordan one was sick. They should have had
somebody's toes or something like that to get it. So
Yeah.
that was my biggest knock on the X itself, because we're talking about the X in 2 years, but and what we want in the next console. I want more custom consoles, right? Not just controllers, actual consoles. At least like for some of the bigger exclusives, like you were expecting it for Halo, right? It gives us an opportunity to buy some of them, like some of the like how Sony did this year, this generation. I mean, like every game pretty much that was like going to be a banger, they made a custom console for. Star Wars, even though it was a sticker, but it sold like crazy. So like I would like to see that with this next console coming forward. Earphones, like an earbud or something like that. Like we haven't had that. You guys are just talking about a second controller, but when was the last time we actually had an earbud?
The original Xbox One, they came with that one
One
earpiece mic.
yeah.
And I still use that to this day to be in a party while I'm playing a game.
Yeah, because like they like you guys were saying, they make it such a big deal to be online, but then they don't give you the tools to be online. Like you need to talk to people. Like, you know, I know a lot of people just kind of get in their party chat and they don't play the game chat, but like still you're still talking to somebody at some point in time in the game, and you know, put that shit in the box. Man, you can have like, even if it's a cheap piece of shit, put it in the box. Because not everybody, like, you know, if you're a new subscriber to gaming or something like that, you're just not getting into it. Like you want to kind of experience that.
Yeah, you're not going out buying the brand new Astros or something like that.
Yeah,
You're
you know,
just
like
getting into
starting
it.
out, like you just want to be able to at least hear people and play with them and talk to them to some degree. So that I would love to see a price drop in, if we're gonna pay for live. You know, you got the PC people getting shit for free. Like at least give us a price drop. You know, like for the monthly subscription or something like that. 'Cause not everybody wants Xbox Ultimate. They may just want to get just Xbox Live.
Dude, I feel, me personally, I feel that, you know, when next generation comes around and a lot more people are into Game Pass and all that good stuff, I feel like they might squash the price for gold. But that's going to be down the line. So I hear you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I don't think that, you know, I don't really expect them to do too many changes in what they're doing now with the current consoles. Like they're gonna make any drastic changes, because nothing I really think, like the console itself. I think it's gonna be what it is. It's the secondary stuff that I think will kind of, you know, like the bling you put on your weapons, the Call of Duty. It's like that extra shit that you get. Like we kind of want that with the console, and it's going to be what it is. We don't have any say so in that. But like once the console comes out, there are some things that we as consumers want that they can actually, you know, adjust to. We can't really do shit once it's out of the box. So, and I'm going to tackle the other thing too, real quick. As far as like this generation with Xbox, I didn't hear the question. I'm going
Basically,
by
I could just tell you real quick. It is the second birthday or second anniversary of the Xbox One X. It is officially 2 years old. So I'm asking the panel whether or not the Xbox One X fulfilled your expectations or what you heard when they actually started talking about it. And then also with that, not just your expectations, but do you think it fulfilled Xbox's expectations with like how it's doing out here in the wild with us gamers, man?
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so my expectations, I think it did fairly well. It's just looking at it just from the perspective of the console. I'm not getting into the games and stuff like that. Just the console itself. I'm perfectly satisfied with what I got out of it, what it's putting out. There's some times with the engine, like you can hear it kind of rev up a little bit. That would be my only knock. But for the most part, like I mean, I still I'm still Team Sticker. So
I
mean, like,
brought that up, man.
yeah, I mean, like I have the Scorpio. I enjoy it. It did what it says going to do. I just like some of the things, like they're kind of out of the control. Like, you know, we kind of want, you know, 4K 60 with everything, HDR with everything, and sometimes that stuff the developers kind of leave that stuff out, and that's not on Microsoft. But as far as the console goes, I think it can compete with a lot of stuff that the PC. You remember, like, you see the comparisons and stuff like that. Like, well, you can't really tell. It's not that far off from what the PC is pushing out right now. Even if it's at 30 frames, we're still getting, graphically, we're still getting, a good image out of what we're seeing. There's been a few hiccups with some of the games, like just what this with it. Like, and it's usually at launch. Like and that's not on Xbox. That's on just the way the game was made, like where it drops, or the the graphics aren't where they're supposed to be because of fucking bugs and stuff like that. But again, that's not the system's problem. That's because of the way the game was coded. But overall, I'm not, I have no complaints with what I purchased. I think it was a good purchase for what it was. Even though it was a little expensive, but you want good shit, you have to put money out for it. So I really can't say anything negative about the console itself. I love it. I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever.
Nice. So what
was
about
the other part? Like,
what
if
about
financially?
Well, for the Xbox division and what they kind of like expected with releasing the more powerful console and everything like that, do you think it has lived up to their expectations?
I think for like a sense of pride, it does. Like, they said, "Hey, we're gonna do this fucking beast of a console," and they did. I think from that aspect, they were like, "Hey, we put out a superior product to the consumers that they've been asking for, and we're happy and pleased with the reaction from the fan base on what we created." Right? I think from that aspect, yes. Financially, like sales wise and stuff like that, I don't think it met what they were expecting it to do. Like, I think, as the goalposts have moved through the generation, they wanted to tackle the power narrative, and they did that. But I don't think a lot of people gravitated to that power, and that's probably because they didn't like really. There's some games out there that don't really take advantage of it. Even some of their first party studio games didn't really seem to take advantage of it fully. Like, the games they created didn't really say, "Hey, this is like what's the word I'm looking for?" Like, we argue about this all the time. Like, some of the games that came out were kind of kiddie. Let's be real. They were cartoonish or whatever, and we wanted more realistic, type shit, and we didn't get that, so it didn't really make it seem as if the power was being shown off, because what you see, like when you see like close to real life images of people like Gears, like you see the character models and stuff like that, like they look like real fucking people, like, and then you see a game like fucking Sea of Thieves. And so like if you're a consumer and you're seeing a cartoony game versus something like Gears or Red Dead, like you see those games, they just weren't shown enough. The Microsoft didn't push enough games like that out. If you're a Sea of Thieves fan, I'm sorry, but I mean, I don't mean any ill will to you, but like,
Sea of Thieves is beautiful, bro.
yeah, I mean, it's a good looking game, but like, look at it from a perspective from a brand new person coming into gaming. They're gonna see a cartoony game like Sea of Thieves, and they're gonna go look at a game like I keep saying Red Dead because that's the first thing that pops in my mind, running on a PlayStation, or Spider-Man, or something like that on the PlayStation side, and in their immediate mind, they're gonna be like, "That looks childish. I want this real shit over here," and even though Gears does look fucking amazing, it came out a little late in generation. And going back to, again, like, my other issue with this whole generation was the custom consoles. I think that would have helped sell a little bit more of the console had they done that. Even though it was like they released the X, and then they released an S with the what was it, the
Minecraft,
like literally right the same week. So like, it kind of it's kind of looked kind of bad to me. Like, they should have released both of them, or at least
I agree with that.
X on that. So,
and the price of the S of that Minecraft was really stupid, because it was $400. It was
Yeah,
$400.
it was
$400. Yeah. I mean,
they
was
put a
just
lot of
like,
time into it and everything
yeah,
like
no,
that. But
the custom
like
was great, yeah, but the price of the S, and then and it's $100 less than the X, but again, when you look at the difference in power between the S and the X, it's not even comparable.
I
Like,
think that was a
right?
marketing ploy, to be honest with you, because Minecraft is so huge that people would just buy it just because it's Minecraft.
Yeah, but it was like so late.
Right.
Like when we were asking for that console, like we need like a custom, custom console for Microsoft. They released that custom console the same time they announced the X. It's like so now we got like, oh, do we want to get another S, or do you want to go ahead and just wait till the Scorpio comes out and get that one? But I think the ones they've done, the custom consoles they've done really well. They're like, you can't look at any of the ones they've actually done for their own products as looking at, even if it's the Minecraft one, the Crackdown one. When they've done custom consoles, even the Nike ones, like the ones we couldn't buy, they were like,
that Jordan one. Oh my
yeah,
goodness, man.
when they
Yeah,
put
the Jordan one was sick.
we were like, oh shit, this looks good. Why the fuck can't we buy this? Like why are you only releasing 10 of these? But like,
yeah, they missed out on a lot of potential with that. That's for damn sure.
It's that laser etching technology on there. Like, I mean, it's almost like they saved it for Gears, which is just weird because
even if they put that in the store for us to buy, like if I knew, like, okay, I'll get back to you in a minute, Crispy. Like, even if I knew I wanted that Jordan one, right, and I might not get it for like 2 months because they have to create it or something like that, or a month or 2 weeks or something like that, I'd wait for that. They put it in the store, let us buy it, and instead of
that would have been a huge amount of money dealing with Nike or dealing with Jumpman.
You're right. It probably would have cost a lot of money, but like, let's say this way, like, let's say we go to the store, right? And I log on and I want to buy a new Xbox One X, and they give me options to buy. They have, the Jordan one, they have I don't know, fucking custom football one you want to buy for whatever team you have or something like that. Like, I think that would sell fairly well because we have the option to do that.
Sports would be fantastic because just think if they made a bundle for every sports team, since they have a license with they have the marketing rights to the third-party marketing rights to Madden. Just think if you could get that Seattle. I can't believe I said that, but
yeah, you just threw up a little.
The Seattle Seahawks
about Seattle.
Seattle Seahawks console.
Where did that come from, man?
With the controller. Well, because I'm going to say my team, the Rams controller with
next. Sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Or even, like I said, the Giants, the Steelers, the Cowboys. Like, if you did all of that, like, just think about how many consoles would fly off the shelves. Even if there was gamers that only just wanted to primarily play on something else, they would still buy those consoles. So, Pred, I like Pred 100% on that whole situation.
I want to give a hypothetical. I want to give a little hypothetical real quick.
Just to let you know, Crispy, we do have other topics, so make it quick.
I'm gonna make it quick.
This is GRG.
I know, right?
They make custom controllers, do they not?
Yeah.
Imagine if they made custom consoles.
Like, put it into Design Lab, right?
Yeah. That's
that would be quite interesting. Mm-hmm. It's not even like you don't have to go in depth immediately. You could just have like color schemes and everything else. That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say real quick, while this discussion was going on, YouTube and my computer both hiccuped at the same time, so you did get some sketchy kind of like gameplay and kind of like the visuals that were going on, but I have since fixed it. There was about 3 minutes of me sweating my ass off behind the scenes, like, man, I gotta smooth this out real quick somehow, and I pulled a random lever and it started working. So, for the people out there who do watch the show, I fixed it. It is back to running smooth, and thank goodness, because that was crazy while all that was going on. But on that note, guys, I would like to talk about a few more topics here. And there goes. Oh, sorry about that. The drifter interrupted me. All right, so we got to talk new games. There's 2 new games that came out this week. And we got to talk about them. And I'm going to start with the first one. I'm going to start with Need for Speed Heat. Now, granted, Need for Speed Heat hasn't been out there on social media and stuff like that, but it it has quietly done something that a lot of Need for Speed like fans, in my opinion, have been waiting for years. I've been playing this game. I've been enjoying this game, but you know, I'm gonna go out to the panel on this. Now, I'm gonna go to somebody I know has been playing this as well. I'm gonna go to K Mega. Now, first off, Mega, you started playing this game through EA Access, right? Hello? Mega, you there? Mega! Okay, then. So on that note, yo, let's go to Predator then. Predator, first off, did you know that Need for Speed Heat released? If you weren't listening to me at all, did you hear anything about Need for Speed Heat and you knew it had released this week? Hello?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't. I mean, other than seeing it in Twitter, like there was no advertisements for it. There was like really no talk about the game except for like K Mega mentioned it, I think like last week or something like that. But I'm not a Need for Speed guy, so even if I saw it, I'd probably be like, okay, whatever. You really like. I don't know if there was just like a lack of marketing. Maybe it's EA pulling back a little bit, considering what they had and what's been going on with the company recently. Like like kind of pulling back a lot of their games and a lot of their games being shitty and the financials looking like crap. I mean, like they're just like, you know what? We'll just release the game, and get the fuck out of the way, and just move on to something else. Like even I'm seeing more like stuff for Jedi than I am for Need for Speed. And I was in GameStop today, and I saw some a little bit of advertising for it. But had I not gone in there, had I not heard about like K Mega playing it and stuff like that, and a couple of people on Twitter playing the game, I really would not have had any clue this game was out right now. To be honest with you, none whatsoever. And I'm not trying to be an asshole.
Me and K Mega, they should hire us for promoting this Need for Speed because like we've been out there letting everybody know about this game. And I think it's for good reason. I've been a long time Need for Speed player. I've been disappointed the last few years. I think Predator, you remember, I think I joked around with you on it. I'm like, yo, this is my Call of Duty. Like every year it comes around, and every year I cannot wait to be disappointed. And and dude, I gotta say, this year I am definitely not disappointed. I will say, K Mega, if you can hear me, as soon as
I'm here, I walked away. I was over there talking to the old lady and her friend.
Of course you were, man. You talk, you walk away. You have a few cocktails. You talk a little. Then you come back here. You play a game while we're talking about topics.
Matter of fact,
bro. You messy.
I just posted a card that I just customized on Need for Speed right now. On Twitter. Yeah. So
all right, brother. So Need for Speed is out. I know you've been playing it, and I asked the question before. As you were having cocktails with the lady or whatnot. Ladies. Damn.
Yeah,
man.
Her and a friend there. Yes.
I'm not saying he's a pimp, just very pimp-ish.
Yes, okay? the big man knows how to entertain. Anyway, go ahead.
But you started playing the game through EA Access, right?
Yes.
All right. So did you have it pre-ordered before you started playing it?
No.
All right.
No.
Did you end up buying it?
Absolutely. I bought it when I had like 3 hours left of my trial.
All right.
Because I knew right then that like, wow, this game is. I put in this much time in this game. The only trial game that I played like that is Madden, that I'll put in damn near the whole 10 hours. And I was like, no, this is a buy. This is definitely a buy.
I was just going to ask that because, you played it through EA Access. First off, I want to shout out Shizno. Dude, I feel you. When it came to Payback, the most stupid thing was the card upgrade system. Dude, I absolutely hated that. So I am with you on that. But Mega, I was gonna say, you played it through EA Access, and something about the game told you that you're definitely gonna want to purchase this. So why don't you give like your general thoughts and opinions about this game, like why you decided to purchase it? What is it about this Need for Speed that got you to go all in, man, and spend your money, dude?
Well, I should say I asked my old lady, could she get it for me because
she's standing right next to you, isn't she?
No. she's in the kitchen with a homegirl cooking. So I'm just, but I got to give her a shout out because I told her that what I was planning on doing was that I was going to get one more game, and then I'm going to shut it down for the rest of the year. I'm not going to buy no more games. And so she's like, really? And so I said, yeah. And so she hooked me up. Yeah. So she's like, okay, all right. And then so she just was being generous. And so she was like, what game is that? And I wanted to get Star Wars. But the thing of it was I started playing this game. And then I was like, no, I'm going to risk it all already for Star Wars, but I really want this Need for Speed. So, it's because she threw it in my face, was like, oh, you said you was just going to get one game, but this Need for Speed is fun. So basically what it was is playing this game, it gave me that sense of some of the old Need for Speeds that we've all been desiring.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much of like Underground. Everybody's been asking for something of Underground. It has some of those elements, especially with the night races. Hot Pursuit, one of Need for Speed's probably most popular series. It has an element of that. And then when you look beyond that, it has elements of other racers that people are familiar with, like Grid and like I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like Grid and you know, I can't think of any others at the point of the time. Well, basically, let's just say Forza, and that's saying something from what we have expected from what Need for Speed has been doing for the last, I say, 4 years. I think I thought that Rivals had a lot of potential, but I don't think gamers was ready for what Rivals was trying to do, because it was trying to bring that Hot Pursuit feel back, but it was the online aspect that I don't think a lot of gamers was ready for, because the game looked good. I don't think just gamers weren't ready for what they were trying to do. So I kind of give Rivals a pass because it was just too far ahead of its time. But then when you look at Streets and then everything else after that, even though I thought that Streets was just absolutely beautiful, but it was all night races in rain and it was a boring racer. Then you had the other ones that came after that, and they're almost really not really talked about, aka Payback. I was sold on the trailer for Payback, and it was absolutely ridiculous, right? Like the game just wasn't. I was disgusted after playing like 2 or 3 hours of it. So, this gets back to the roots. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it in the discussion of Forza or even a GT? With GT Sport, I would say it's in that realm, but GT Sport is still a better racer by far. Forza, not in the same stratosphere. Now, there's Grid that's come out. I haven't got a chance to play Grid, so I'm not going to say what I know about with Grid or Dirt or any of these other races because I haven't got a chance to play those games yet. But I feel that Need for Speed got back to the roots of what everybody was talking about and what they wanted. And the one thing that I think out of everything that I've just said is that the game is fucking fun. It's just absolutely enjoyable to play. And one thing that Need for Speed has over Forza, believe it or not, is the customization. The customization is top notch in this game.
Especially, this one, man.
Take notes. Yeah, this one is on that. That's why I said those elements of Underground where they have you can customize your tire smoke, your NOS, all of that stuff. Like, it's crazy, the customization. Now, some cars can't be customized like others, but for the cars that they have available and for what you can do to customize them, definitely.
Brother, check this out. I know what you're saying about the customization, but even to that point, the development studio Ghost that made this game thought about that, and before you buy the car, they give it a customization rating in the left side of
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude, that's insane right there.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like there was a couple of cars. Like I just was looking to buy another car, and I was like, man, I kind of the BMW that I had yeah, you can customize it, but you can only do so much. So I said, I want to go all out. So I went ahead and I got the RX-7. And like I'm looking at, and then I tricked it out, and that's what I posted on Twitter right now. And I'm like, I just love what you can do with the customization. That's why I say the only Forzas that really, the only Forza that I could think that had even close to this type of customization was the very first Forza Horizon. They had a good, strong customization, but still, Need for Speed has always been better in this department. So that's saying something when you are in that realm of having something better than the best racer that's out right now, in my opinion. So I enjoy it. And then I'm hearing that this game is going to probably be on Black Friday for like maybe $35. If you're a racing enthusiast, get that game. Get this game. This game is fun. The other thing that is also a little confusing, I mean, not confusing, I should say confusing. The other thing that it's confusing in the fact, because we was talking about it earlier today, was that EA is, I think Pred said something about this, or maybe you, I can't remember, that EA has had such a bad rep this year because of, Anthem and things like that. This game online is great.
I haven't played it online yet, brother.
Oh, man, I was playing with 6 people online today, and we were all doing the race. Now, these guys were way ahead of me. They were already in the 300 ranks, and their rep was way higher than mine, but I just wanted to build up my rep because I knew I wasn't going to beat them in the race. But just think about this for a second. You're all racing, 6 of you. Now it's 8. It's 6 of us racing. There's 2 CPUs that's in the race, and then all of a sudden the cops come out. Just think about how chaotic that shit is. And we're going everywhere, running everywhere. We're trying to beat the race. We got cops coming, and then the heat raises up, and then you got like level 2, 3 cops coming after you, and then they're putting out the old Hot Pursuit stuff where they're putting out the.
I got my heat level up to 4 last night, and dude,
it's insane.
It's serious, bro.
I haven't seen the helicopter yet, but it is insane, and the cops are very relentless. And then you have like 6 players playing online, and it feels good. It's not any lag. The game feels fantastic. So. EA knocked it out the park on that end. I like I said, I think for a racer, this is a definite buy if you are a race enthusiast. Now, if you are on the fence, wait until the price goes down. But if you love racing, pick it up. This Need for Speed is legit. Nice,
brother. And you covered almost all the bases there in what I thought as well. If you are a fan of like the older Need for Speeds, like Underground 2, Carbon, Most Wanted. It takes bits and pieces from all of that, and they completely reworked the car physics and how the cars feel. And I gotta say, in my opinion, they did an incredible job. Now, Crispy, I gotta ask, man, because like I said, you are the newest member on this show. I don't know your Need for Speed history, man. Are you a Need for Speed guy?
K-Mega just sold me, man. What the hell? Dude, like, this is all right. My Hot Pursuit 2 is one of the greatest games ever made, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what you just said in that quick statement just sold me on this game. I'm going to have to pull out the money out my butthole and call it a day, bro. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I was so disappointed with the last one. And I don't even want to speak about it.
Awful.
So disappointed. And I played the hell out of Carbon. I loved Carbon. Carbon's one of the best because it made you play through it again with a different car. A different type, the muscle. You had all these different, the Japanese. They threw it all at you. But the story of like Most Wanted, and then not just that, but like Hot Pursuit 2, as far as racing in general, is one of those games that kind of like led us to Forza and shit like that. Yes. But the thing about Need for Speed is they've always kept the police involved. They kept the realism, as I like to call it. It's actually real because if you think about it, you're going to get your ass chased by cops. if you're fucking going, 200 miles an hour. You know what I mean? So it's only logical. And that is what I've always loved about Need for Speed. Like when I drive in Forza, which I haven't played in a long time, like months,
you don't have to worry about it, man.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that shit. And that intensity is a part of Need for Speed that I love. And I didn't feel that in Payback. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that I had that intensity. And then the linear story, like it made you want to continue to progress in the story. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you guys are also talking about. Right. Now, the multiplayer part sounds even better because I'm a multiplayer gamer, and even though I'll get my ass handed to me,
and Crispy,
I will gladly drive against multiplayer players. Well,
Crispy, check this out, man. You can have your own crews, racing crews in Need for Speed Heat. And I started last night. I created the next racing crew. So if you do pick it up, you will be getting an invitation to the next racing crew, brother. Are you gonna accept?
I think I am absolutely have to.
He's like, I have to.
Well, no, and this is because I was torn. I have a certain amount of money to spend on games this year. Right. Between the presents I have to give and everything else, I have this certain amount of money, and it's $60. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was Need for Speed Heat.
If you have EA Access, it's only $53. And if you have like Microsoft, see, that's the thing. That was one of the things that I got the advantage of talking to my old lady to getting it for me, is because I had Xbox points and I had and it was EA Access, which was $53 for the standard. And then when I had my points, it was only like $28.
Well, so, I don't have EA Access because I would have bought it. Only the Maddens have been horrible for the past couple of years.
You know what? How about this, Chris?
This Madden and last
Madden was actually
you never tell K Mega that Madden was bad, man. You never tell him that.
Last Madden is almost the exact same as this Madden.
No, it's not. I pick up Madden every year. I'm a sports fanatic with football, basketball. And surprisingly, I pick up FIFA as well. So, FIFA has always been the best out of it's been the best between the EA sports games. But this Madden is special in my opinion, just for all of the content that they've added. Last year's Madden was where they made the turnaround to where I could actually say that I'm happy to play Madden. And the online is spectacular. The online is way better than any 2K game, which I hate saying that because I've always been a NBA 2K fan from the jump when they started off on the Dreamcast. But yeah, 2K is kind of like a shell of itself when it comes to the online play of its sports game.
I like the what is it, the blacktop or whatnot when it comes to the NBA 2K multiplayer.
Yeah, but it's trash because you know what I'm saying. I don't like saying that word, but the online servers for 2K are absolutely ass juice. It's not.
Oh my god!
Keep Kitty Mega on task, man. Pred's got
what is up, brother?
Pred's busy, but that's the thing, man. I know that we kind of going a little left, but don't knock Madden. Don't knock Madden.
You crossed that line, brother.
I've been a Madden since
Madden isn't that bad.
Madden 05.
But I don't buy them every year. I buy them like every other or every third.
That's why I do NBA 2K every other year, man.
No rushing. It doesn't matter about ratings. I don't even want to hear about that stupid rating shit. We'll get into that.
Meta who?
Meta
who? Yeah.
You know what? Metacritic at this point.
We're going to see what your energy's like when we get to Death Stranding talk.
Oh no!
Oh, here we go.
Sounds like a segue.
Well, first we got to say what up to the Don. Don, it is great to have you on the show again, brother. What is going on, man?
Not much. I'm just trying to keep you on task because Pred's got things to do after the show.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, Pred will be making an early retreat, right?
I'm done. No, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Look at that.
Leave, actually. My wife,
dude, we just let K Mega and Crispy go at it, and you can do whatever and come back and be good for the show, man.
It just shows you how much time went by.
Yeah, no.
the ratings has gone up. That shows right there. Me and Crispy can run this show. Bot just
just put you on and walk away. That's all I gotta do, man.
You know what? But you make good points, dude. I have to say. The only thing is that if I play as Patrick Mahomes in 19 or 20, it's the same damn thing.
Oh no.
Thing. With the updated rosters, yes it is.
No.
I already played it. All
right, guys, calm down. Don, they sent in the Don to keep us on task, man. What is going on here? So when it comes down to it, I'm gonna ask you, Don, since you're here as well. Need for Speed. First off, are you a Need for Speed guy? Okay. Look at that.
Don left. Don's gone.
He's gone.
Outta here.
No. I'm like, my cables are too short on my desk. I'm like, who did the cable management here? Anyways,
and then he realized it was himself who did that. So
yes, and then I slapped myself and moved on. What's up?
You was being that old man that fell asleep behind the wheel and blamed somebody else. I got you.
I saw that video that got passed around.
Wow. All right, Don, are you a Need for Speed guy, man? You came in. I'm bringing you right into the topic, man.
Oh, Need for Speed?
Yes.
Were you
ever a Need for Speed guy?
Yeah, I think on the GameCube, Xbox, original Xbox era, I was. But
are you talking like Underground 2?
I think it was the Underground series.
Okay,
if I remember correctly. But after that, like, I think I fell out of love of arcade racers. I started falling back into the more realistic racers.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's how motorsport kind of grabbed me. And then the sweet balance has been Horizon. And to be honest, I tried to play Horizon 1, tried to play Horizon 2. I just don't really enjoy those.
Horizon 1 is still my favorite Horizon.
I don't really enjoy those, like, because I kind of moved on. But like, I think 3 and 4 definitely hit that balance between it's arcade-ish, but it has some real-world physics going on there. Mm-hmm. And then once I've gotten a taste of that, anything that doesn't quite have that flavor of realism, I'm just not interested. Just not interested anymore. I
got you. So, like, even though I'm pretty sure you've seen some stuff on Need for Speed Heat and everything like that. I will ask you, because I feel like at least the franchise is back on track from like the past iterations, like the Undergrounds, the Carbon, Most Wanted, stuff like that. Are you happy to see that for the most part, the development studio Ghost finally found the heart of Need for Speed again and put it into Heat, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad for the people that are interested in franchises like that. Mm-hmm. And, just because I don't like something, and this is something very important, just because, and this needs to be
dude, I'm grabbing the chair right now and like, oh my goodness, he's gonna say this?
No, this needs to be iterated a lot. Just because a game is not for you doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. And doesn't mean there's not an audience for it.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And it's easier to talk about third-party games because there's not this bias towards one person's platform versus the other where they prefer, right? So something like this, yeah, I'm glad it exists. There's a market for that, right? Just like there's a market for Horizon, just like there's a market for more realistic games like the Motorsports and the Gran Turismos of the world, right? And there's markets for each one of these, and as far as accessibility, and I'm glad it's more games, more different types of games, more different types of racers. It's a good thing. Just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not for other people.
Nice.
That's where we go down to saying let's enjoy the games we love.
Well, speaking of that, brother, you guys are giving a proper segue. Let's get into a more polarizing game that has come out this week as well. Because I'm using the word polarizing because that seems to be the new word in the Twitter vocabulary. Everybody's saying the word polarizing, right? And that is Death Stranding. Now, I'm gonna go to Pred on this one first. We haven't really heard him like too much. He did what he had to do. Of course, we had K Mega and Crispy arguing about Madden here. But Predator, the new game, Death Stranding came out. What do you think? Did you pick it up or what's going on? No.
I'm not saying I'm not completely interested. I want to say that I'm not interested in the game at all. It just doesn't. It's not my
Bag.
style of game. Yeah, it's not
Wheelhouse.
my bag. I need something with a little bit more, I guess, action. So and I get what they're trying to do there, and create another genre or whatever. But like, I can't just see myself walking with a Lego stack of luggage on my back up mountains and stuff like that, trying to balance that shit out. It's just from what I've seen. Again, I've not played it, but from what I've seen and knowing my game style type, not for me. Not for me at all.
All right, so and I know, guys, we talked about kind of like the reviews came out last week, and we talked about them last Saturday. But as in kind of like next podcast tradition, whenever new games come out, especially like bigger names that have been out in the community, we do go in and give our thoughts and opinions, who picked them up, like what we thought and stuff like that. With this one, I know it's going to be a little different, so. Pred, what do you think about like the stigma of this game? You do have people out there saying they absolutely love it. Then you have other people, and I'm kind of like, I saw the gameplay. I've watched more than enough gameplay of this game to know exactly what it is, and to know I don't want any part in it. Like, I think the actual universe that this game was kind of like built in is definitely interesting, and I think there is definitely a message here. But what do you think about like the overall atmosphere? What's going on in social media with this game? Like, dude, it's been something. It's been a hot topic for like going on 2 weeks now, ever since the reviews came out. Man, what do you think's going on with the community with this game?
I think people are judging this game based off of just the experience that they're getting out of it. Like, oh, like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna sit back and watch this movie, and then and listen. Like it, they're not discussing. Like you said it last night. Like they're telling us about everything but the gameplay. Like, and it's like, oh, this looks good and that looks good, and the
The
story, this,
atmosphere and
yeah, and the ambiance and bullshit like that. But like anyone I've talked to about it isn't telling me about the gameplay. They're only talking about that it's different. It's different. It's this, it's that. I'm like, well, that's not the game. Like I got the controller in my hand. I want to do more than just.
I didn't do it.
No, my
When
go ahead, Pred.
I'm saying when I'm playing a game, I actually I want to interact with my controller a little bit more than just like running from up this mountain, dropping this off, watching the cutscene. And from what I've seen, again, I've not played the game, but from what I've seen and heard, that's basically what it is. Now, it may tell a great story, but if I wanted a story, I'd watch a movie. I'd read a book. If I got my controller in my hand, I want to interact with my controller. And so, like, no, it's not my bag, but it appeals to some people. Like Don said a minute ago, like it may not be my game, but it's somebody's.
Yeah.
So it just ain't mine. And I think a lot of people who've gotten into this game so far is interested in it because it's intriguing. The story seems like it's really good, but talk to me in a week.
I want to see how many people are still playing it like long term, man.
Yeah, talk to me in a week. Talk to me after you get Jedi Fallen Order in your hands or something like that. And just have me do this game.
I already got it.
Like.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
What? That's not right.
I'm just saying, like in like the gaming community, like in a general, like we'll play a game, and once the next game comes out, we'll move on to that. So I want to see how many people finish this game, and and what their reaction is after that. And even looking at the user scores, I hate doing the meta part, especially the user score part, because everybody fucking just bombs it if they don't.
Yeah,
like
the
it,
user
and if
scores
you like it.
definitely got bombed like big time by.
But when I read did we talk? Was this topic last week? I've been in so many podcasts, I can't remember.
It was only like the reviewer scores like last week.
Yeah, when a game is getting 80s, even fucking 90s / 100s and stuff like that, and they're dissing it, but they're still giving it those scores. Like if you read the actual reviews and they talk about the game, it doesn't sound like the game is really that good. The game isn't that good. You're like, but the story may be great, but the game, the mechanics of the game, like just the reviews alone and the people who I've talked to who played it, it doesn't sound like it's a really, really good game to me. So, um, yeah, it's a polarizing game. We'll see. We'll see if this whole stranding genre, whatever the fuck it's called, um, if it becomes a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it gets copycatted and other people are doing sort of things. I just
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't see it taking off like Battle Royale did or something like that. Like I still see this genre as being that big. It's I don't know. It's Kojima too, so like everybody's like, "Oh, we love him."
So are
I'm
you
not a Kojima
saying
fan, so
Well,
are you saying that multiplayer is more important?
I'm saying long term multiplayer
he
is
said
important.
gameplay is more
No,
important.
no,
Like,
no, no. But he brought up battle royales, and that's basically what they are. They're just multiplayer
I
games.
think he was using that
Wait,
more
I
in
was
the
using that as a genre.
yeah.
Wait. There's going to be a Death Stranding battle royale.
No,
That would
no.
actually be fucking hilarious.
I'll explain it if Fred don't get it, but
Yeah.
Explain what?
Battle royale or Death Stranding?
no, the online component of it.
I thought you
I
were
don't
supposed
know.
to
I've
keep
never
us
played
on
it, so I don't
task,
know.
Don.
I haven't played it.
I'm asking important questions that people want to know.
Oh,
I'm just saying when Battle Royale became a thing, that was a huge genre, and a lot of people copycatted that, and you just saw these stupid ass games come out. I don't think that you're gonna see that with Death Stranding.
Well, all I'm saying is
well,
that
hold on
it's
one
totally
second, Crispy.
multiplayer. That's
Crispy,
all.
one second, real quick. I just want to give a huge shout out to our brother Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat, letting everybody know that it does work. Basically stating, stop talking about Death Postal. And brother, I thought we agreed that the name was FedEx Simulator. I thought that was the nickname for this game. And brother, if it's a new game, we are talking about it here on next podcast. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the opinions and whatnot, because I have a feeling there are plenty of opinions to go around on this. And with that being said, I was going to go to the Don, but K Mega said he wanted to explain something about this, so I'm going to go to K Mega next when it comes down to it, brother. Death Stranding. First off, did you pick it up then?
No.
Why?
I wanted to just like with Need for Speed. I wanted to see it for myself. And somebody asked me, because it has my name and it was showing Death Stranding, why did I fall off the mountain? I didn't fall off the mountain. I said I just fell because I thought he was talking about the Need for Speed gameplay, but he was talking about listen. Okay. I will explain first about the whole connection thing. It has a creative aspect to where everybody can work together, to where they can do things to help one another and to make things easier for everybody else. Like, for instance, there's a bridge that the internet community made to where you could take your cycle and take it to a further plane to get to point A to point B a lot quicker than you could if you was just using your bike or your little hovercraft or walking to get to that point, which is cool. Which I think, as looking at it from the standpoint of what Kojima is trying to make with the game and have the online components to where everybody is connected like he wants it to be, I thought that's a really cool aspect of the game. I watched 4.5 hours of gameplay last night. And
Damn,
I talked about
4.5 hours in one night.
in one night. I watched
Crap, dude. God bless you, brother.
That's what I do. I'm not going to go and talk about a game if I buy it or if I don't. I'm going to talk about if that game is great or if that game is bad, unless I watch. Like with God of War. When I said what I said about God of War, I watched plenty of gameplay before somebody got the game for me and I played and experienced myself. Now, there's a difference between God of War and between Death Stranding, because when I listen to people say you can watch Death Stranding and get the gist of what it is than you can for other games. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to co-sign that unless I watch it first. I watched it and I totally can agree with that, because you understand how the game operates without having the controller in your hand.
Yeah, you see the gameplay loop, man.
You see the gameplay loop, and this is, and I'm going to keep that same energy. I'm never going to change my energy about somebody liking a game more than others may like a game. I like Crackdown 3 story. I like the multiplayer, but the multiplayer killed itself. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, why Crackdown's multiplayer died. It wasn't because of it didn't live up to expectations. It was live up to expectations because what we seen 5-6 years ago. I say 3 or 4 years ago from what we seen from that E3. It was because they took too damn long to get the multiplayer correct, to give it to where we could play with our friends in the lobbies. That was the downfall of it. The thing with Death Stranding, though, is that it's an intriguing game. It has a lot of potential for a game to go further. This game is not going to be a game that's going to gravitate to casual gamers. It's not. Period. That's not me saying that the game is bad or good, but when you look at this game and when I'm seeing the storyline, and this is when you catch people that's lying and they're frauding the public. Man, I played 2 hours. I'm loving the story. You're not getting the gist of the story in 2 hours at all. You're just learning the tutorial about what's going on. And I wanted to get into full depth, okay, so what happened around, this part, that part, but I'm not going to do that because it only brings out those crazed ass PlayStation fans, not true PlayStation fans, but those radicals that just talks the stupid shit just because. And I'm seeing people that's saying, oh man, like Fred said, this game looks beautiful. This game is this, but tell me about of what you really love about this game, the in-depth storyline, all of that. Kojima has a system with this game. And what I've learned is that unlike Red Dead Redemption 2, which I've heard reviewers try to even compare it to, which is embarrassing, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a far more greater game than that game. Not saying that it's a bad game, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is it's in its own class.
It's a more like Red Dead Redemption 2, in my opinion, has more of an immersive gameplay loop.
You have way more stuff to do in Red Dead Redemption 2 than you do with what's going on.
Oh shoot, brother! I believe Delilah is in the chat right now.
I said, "What's up, Delilah? What's going on?" Hey, what's up, Delilah? But this is the thing, right? Graphically, the game is outstanding, and this is something that I have to give all the people that's worked on the game. We've heard that there were so many people that worked on different studios actually that's worked on Death Stranding. They have done a masterful job to make a game that's so dire looking, like the gray atmosphere, make that game looks absolutely beautiful. The game graphically is up there with some of the best looking games that you want to talk about this generation. Look absolutely stunning. But the problem is what Kojima did is, instead of like with other games where you can jump in and if you want to do those side missions, you can do those side missions. But if you don't want to, you can just go straight to the story mode. Kojima ain't making you do that, Jack. You're going to do a lot of these postal back and forth jobs, and then you're going to get some of the storyline of what's going on, which I can't stand. I thought that was absolutely atrocious. I've seen the reason of what he did, why he did that, but again, I find that to be kind of bullshit. It's let the gamers decide how they want to play the game. The story, it takes, like I said, 4.5 hours in. Well, 4 hours in. You get to a point to where you have to, and this is not really a spoiler if you played the game, and I don't think a lot of people is going to do this or that, so I'm just going to say this point. There's a part in the game where a person dies, and you have to carry that individual from one point to the next point to cremate them, and then the story, to me, at that point starts to get hot, because I'm like, oh shit, okay, you got them BTs, they coming out of nowhere. You gotta get the story of what's going on with this baby. It's a homeboy of yours. The baby is not the baby. They want you to discard the baby, but the baby's not going to get. But you choose to use that baby because you're in a hot situation where you could get fucked up by these BTs. And then they said that the baby is that it's flawed. It's going to get you fucked up, but in all actuality, I think this baby is more special than a lot of the babies that these other postal service guys use. So that goes further on into the game. You get into that point, and then what happens? Instead of it going more into what's going on with the story, it goes into the dragging part of where you're doing more deliveries.
It flatlines into what you're gonna do the majority of the time, man. And that's exactly what I saw.
And that's the part that drives me crazy, because with Red Dead, you have the choice to where you can go continue the story or you can do something else. What Kojima did with this game is like, no, we want to teach you about the whole connecting thing. We got these suitcases, we got these satchels all over the place. Go pick them up, go help some, or people can go put them in some storage, and you can help these people deliver those packages closer by, which I think that's really cool. That's a cool aspect. But if you are intrigued into the story, that takes away from the intrigued of you take the excitement of what you get from what you see from the story. That to me is bad. And then there's two other factors too. One, where I find it to be absolutely problematic, and I would have dropped points on this game just because of when you start the game, you see a very easy mode. That should never be in any game.
Oh, I think that's a little nitpicky right there, brother.
No. Listen. As a person that plays my games on higher difficulties than normal on all of my games, I don't ever play games on normal. Never. I want that challenge. And I'm seeing that, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm watching Bloody's gameplay. And Bloody picks the hardest gameplay, and the gameplay is so simple. It would be not hard. It would be considered normal. Live got the game as well. He's playing it. We was discussing that on GRG last night. He's like, it's not even a problem. How would you put it to where that game is that's the thing to me. You would think if you're going to put an extra easy mode for somebody to review the game, to get through it so they can say what they feel about the game, fine. But if you sit there and if you have an extra hard mode, I want that shit to be difficult as fuck, to where it makes me like, whoa, I might have to pull back, or I need this game, or the fact that, like, yeah, it's challenging enough to where I want to be.
So your complaint is the difficulty. The hard mode is not hard enough.
The hard mode is not hard at all.
It's really hard.
The game easily.
It's really hard to put difficulty levels on, like I said, the core gameplay loop. And when it comes down to it, I definitely want to hear what the Don has to say about this, being an independent developer as well. But I feel with what the core gameplay of this game, I feel it's really hard to put a difficulty level on it.
No, when you're going against enemies like the BTs, the BT aspect of the game is terrifying, and it should be. And then when you look at the way that, like I said, when I'm watching what Bloody's going through, and Bloody said this himself, he played the game, like he's playing it. I'm watching him playing it, and he's like, it's not really a challenge when, like, the BTs do get a hold of you. You can still fight through it. But on hard mode, it should be one of those things where if the BTs get a hold of you, you're either done or you got to do something clever as hell to get out of it. And you can still fight through it just like, and I'm like, my God, what is this game like on the easy level to get through once a BT finds you? And then the crazy thing is, I'm looking at once Bloody got to the one part where he fights his very first enemies that steal your mail. Your mail.
Yeah, they don't even try to kill you. They just want to take your packages.
Yeah, they just want to steal your packages, and they got these sticks. You can just slide right under them and just whoop their ass. It's easy. You're done. Like, This is on hard mode. I can't stand that. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Dark Souls and things like that. I'm not saying that all games need to be like Sekiro and Dark Souls, but I'm saying if I want to play a game to where it's going to make me work, I want people to see me die and show what they might have to do when I'm progressing further into the game. The game is too simplistic. That's drop points for me on that aspect. Another thing is the fact that
is this GRG?
Yeah, he's got a lot to say on this one, man. So
I wanted to get it out the way.
Do it. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
The other thing that I find it to be egregious is that so many of these fanboys wanted to keep the same energy about Crackdown 3, about Sea of Thieves, about all this stuff. But they are going so butt-ass backwards to try to defend this game when they know deep down in their heart that they have to tell you, oh, man, this game is fun. It's not like what the reviewers tell you. Okay, cool. I got you. I've been saying this. Stop listening to fucking Metacritic and other people's opinions. Go by what you know with the game. When I say Crackdown is fun for me, it may not be fun for you, but don't say that. Don't do the same thing and say, oh no, Crackdown's trash, but you've never played it, or you put in an hour into it and then or watch gameplay and say it's trash. I'm not going to say Death Stranding's trash. I'm just going to say that game is not game of the year in my opinion, and it's not a motherfucking game that should be in the comparison of a great quality game like fucking Red Dead Redemption. Get that shit out your mouth because it's nowhere near that.
Well, Mega, here's the deal. I think the devil is in the details. What you do is you let them talk about the game without saying anything, right? Right. And then when it comes down to it, after they gush over exactly what Pred said, I called Mooch out last night, and I called Enrique from Brap. Shout out to my two brothers, Mooch and Enrique, really awesome people. But they were talking about the game, and they were going in like Pred was saying, they're going in on the atmosphere, on like different things in the background, on the graphics, and all that good stuff. And by the time they were done with it, I was like, you know what, guys? Here's one thing you didn't talk about at all when you were gushing over this game: the gameplay.
Right.
And when it comes down to it, you let them corner themselves talking about every little aesthetic and ambiance and everything like that in the game. Then you're like, well, but you didn't even talk about the gameplay, and it's a video game.
Xbot, you ever seen the Mona Lisa?
Not in person, but I saw pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think? No. Hold up.
Yeah. Damn.
What do you think about the Mona Lisa?
I think it's a very interesting picture. There are certain things within that picture that seem like they are coded for some reason. Like the background, the horizon line is uneven on the right side and the left side for some weird reason. I think it's a really interesting picture. I would love to see it in person so I can really kind of break it down visually.
Dude, you just like laid right into what I'm saying, dude.
Nice.
How much is the Mona Lisa worth? $100 million. Okay. And what
he said that with his pinky up, just so you guys know.
What can I say about a picture that has no appealment to me? I can't say anything because somebody values it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I will say this. Kojima, if you make a movie, I will watch it.
Oh, hell yeah.
I really will. But that's where I say, like, if you fix the bridge of her nose, it might, it might be a little better. So I say, I'm playing a game, not a goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, if I want to go watch
Mona
a movie,
Lisa
I'm
needs
gonna
a nose job. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna hold my girl's hand and we're gonna watch the movie.
Yo.
Okay.
All right, yo, Crispy, real quick. Just there's a super chat, yo. I want to shout out Sir X-Man one more time. He says, K-Mega, very easy mode is for casuals, man. Go ahead, Crispy.
Don't matter.
Yo, Crispy, you got me tonight with that. Mona Lisa needs a nose job,
Dude,
brother.
I'm telling you right now, like, you have to understand, like, I watched the game, and you know what? When people say they feel like it's a sense of suspense when they're walking. You understand what I'm saying? So when they're walking through like these fields, these mountains and stuff, there's a sense of suspense because there's almost a mini game right in the actual walking, which is probably what is keeping people gripped about it. They're like, oh, like this is challenging for them. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like when somebody goes and plays, Destiny or something, and they don't know what they're doing, this kind of eliminates that because the mini game's already established. And that's where people don't understand. Like there's like ambient music and stuff like that, and you're just like, I don't want to play, but I do. And I think some of those reviews are actually accurate. Just from what I've watched.
Oh wow.
I watched for 3.5 hours, and it was Mooch, who's very entertaining, I must say. I mean, he's got
stop fangirling right there, brother. No, I'm just
no.
I'm just
He
playing.
really is. He really is. And the thing is that he had somebody else with him that was explaining the game the way they saw it, and it was actually made a lot of sense. And I'll tell you right now, I would never buy it. And it wouldn't make me buy a PS4. That's what I come down to. Like, is it going to make me buy a PS4? No, it's not. You know what I mean?
The limited edition PS4 Pro, the Death Stranding one, I do say I like the way that looks. I think that looks really cool.
Okay, let me say something right fast, Crispy. Just right fast. Somebody in the chat, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say your name because that shit is funny as hell to me. Said Kojima literally said he made this game as a response to what was going on in the government, where he wants people to come together and build the world together. Listen, the way that our government is right now, there's no togetherness, and this game is not going to bring anybody together. The perspective, listen, let me ask this other question, bro. You said Death Stranding is lit, but you just said last night you getting it in the mail. So you telling me you got it already to play for how long did you get it? Because you said you didn't have it yet on GRG last night. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
But in realism, like I am always one to call out a game. I think it's teetering. Like I think it deserves like an 82 as a actual meta.
I think it is actually dropped down to an 82 now.
I don't know that. I'm just looking at the chat on my phone. I'm not certain.
I saw it in the chat, so I'm not. You know me, man. I don't care about Metacritic. So
yeah, well, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's a bad game. I don't think anybody that playing it doesn't deserve to flaunt at the fact that they enjoy the game. I mean, a lot of people don't enjoy the games I like. That's cool. You know what it comes down to is we got to be smart about it here. Like the game has a lore. It could make another one, but like I said, if Kojima made a movie, I would actually probably watch it, to be honest, because from what I saw from the cutscenes and everything else, which there are a lot of cutscenes, that it is a very well made game, definitely, and for a PS4 owner to not pick this game,
well-made game, because like
it's a well-made game.
No, like a well-made game has a great gameplay loop as well as an immersive story, environment and universe. Okay, and when it comes down to it, I from what I've seen from this game, and granted I have not played it, but from what I have seen over 3 hours of gameplay, I do agree with the parts where they say that, because it looks clunky. It does look kind of like bogged down. It doesn't look like the core gameplay mechanic does not look fun. I do want to give a shout out to Joe Hansel again. Basically, he said that he's played the game for 15 hours. It is a visual showcase and might be one of the best looking games this generation. Or the best looking game this generation. He's like, but with that being said, he can't defend the gameplay loop and the mechanics. He says, I think Kojima should have done a mini series or movie, interesting story, but not an interesting game. And that's the
Thank
feeling.
you.
That's the feeling I got from this, from all the gameplay I've watched and everything like that. Now, granted, if you see this game, you watch the gameplay, and you are like, man, I really want to control this character. I really want to get into this world. I really want to play this game. I really want to deliver these packages. And this game's for you. I'm not knocking it. All right. But there are certain things, certain observations when it comes to this game that I'm putting out there. That there's things I see from this game that I'm like, I don't know if you can say it's a really well-made game per se, just because of the gameplay loop. But with that being said,
there are very little glitches.
Oh, okay.
It is very well. It is well thought out in the mechanics. It's well thought out in the mechanics that it involves. Okay, so like walking is a gigantic part of it. Now I will bring into example how barren the Division 1 felt when I was running through it, and I had no choice because I had no fast travel. It was annoying at the beginning. It was very annoying. And the one thing is it brings a mini game in between those points. And yes, those points are few and far between, but a shit ton of well orchestrated cutscenes in between those periods of time. So you kind of like get back into the story. It has a sci-fi element that you haven't really heard before. And I still don't know what the actual premise of the universe they're in. I don't understand it. I have no clue, but I'm kind of intrigued. I don't feel I could physically play the game. I really don't feel I could do that. But I'm kind of interested in the story. That's why I say, Kojima, go work for Sony Studios and call it a day.
He said he's going to make movies as well. Like he wants his studio to make movies as well.
He should make movies because I was intrigued more with the story itself, which is kind of weird. I could not play the actual game. I commended Mooch like 4 fucking times. I was like, I could not do it.
Bravo to you for doing this for us. Like, bravo. But let me one more.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
One more super chat. Sir X-Man hitting up that super chat one more time, showing that love and that support for the show and the channel. He says, my buddy K Mega, don't miss nothing, can't fake him. Are you sure about that? Is that like 100% of the time? Because I'm pretty sure you could sometimes, man. Sometimes you could. But I do want to get to the Don here. And like I said, the reason why is I feel like the Don always has an interesting perspective that he's coming from. He is an independent developer. He's been working on his own game. So with that being said, Don, Death Stranding has come out. Have you seen like gameplay information about this game?
Yeah, I've seen stuff about it.
All right. So with that being said, you I know you see like there's like this huge kind of like there's this huge atmosphere when it comes to this game out there on social media within the gaming community and whatnot. What do you think from seeing what you've seen? If you saw gameplay and stuff like that, what do you think about this game that has released this week? Do you see, where I think the majority of this panel is coming from, where like the universe and the story looks interesting. I think we're all in agreement that from what we've seen gameplay wise with the gameplay loop and delivering packages and stuff like that, that being kind of like that's the core gameplay loop, where that might be where this game falls short.
Well, the way I look at this game and just because of the way they market it, it's really hard to follow, like, what is this game? If you kind of get where I'm going with that. Mm-hmm. It's basically they took a bunch of mini side things that you find in games and made it the game and kind of took an artistic approach to the story. I mean, that's probably the fairest way I can describe it, right? Mm-hmm. He's losing his balance with all the packages on there. That's no different than Lara Croft to have to press the, I don't know if it was triggers or shoulder buttons when she was balancing on a log. But that balancing on a log lasts about 3 or 5 seconds in the game, and this is something you have to do all the time, right? So I would say a lot of the mechanics are not anything overly new. I mean, even like what you have to move your controller to, calm down the baby. It's not much different in motion than when you played the first Dead Rising on an Xbox and you had to shake the controller to get the zombies off of you. Like,
Great point.
these mechanics are usually side mechanics and things. Like, they're like you have a core game, and then what you have typically around it is these little filler things. And what Kojima did is you flipped all that, right? You took all the filler things and made that the core mechanics of the game. And then what he did, on the story, he just does like a Kojima story, and he's very artistic in how he approaches it. And that's probably the fairest way I can describe what the game is. Now, keep in mind that took 3 years to figure out. Like, and that's kind of how Kojima likes to do things. He likes to keep people guessing what the product is, and keeps people engaged. And he has his own way of marketing his products. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing as like Need for Speed for me. I'm glad it exists for people that are going to enjoy this sort of game. There's more and more gamers hitting the market, so there are, I want to see space for games like this to exist. Am I even remotely interested in it? No. Do I know who to recommend it to? I don't know. I'd probably leave that to
man.
I'll probably leave that to somebody that really, honestly, truly enjoys the game. In regards to that, and I would leave it at that. And that's kind of how I look at it. I don't think it's bad product or anything like that. I mean, I love the art style. I think the art style is visually gorgeous, and that's something that I work in all the time. That's just for other people's background. Majority of my background is creating 3D models, character assets. So I mean, hats off to the art team that worked on that.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, I just and I also think people kind of get things blown out of proportion when people get into the online arguments. I think a lot of people like to argue they like to argue their interest in the game like they experience the game. Does that make sense? Sometimes people haven't experienced the game. You don't know if you like it or dislike it. All you're really expressing at the time until you play a product is your interest in the product. And I always try to be clear about like what way I describe things like this. And my interest is just, I'm just not interested in it. I tried watching it with Mooch's stream and all that sort of stuff. I mean, to be honest with you, like out of the exclusive on the PlayStation lineup, this is probably dead last of what I would want to play out of their exclusives. But doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just means like it just doesn't appeal to me. And it's important to keep iterating that, because I think that those messages are lost. Like just because you're not interested in it doesn't mean it's a bad game. Doesn't mean you hate the product. It just means just not interested. Take it back to the fundamentals.
Yeah. Now the thing is, like, I think, first and foremost, I think Kojima created that hype, like you said, because he likes to not really say what the product is. I think you're dead on with that. I think another thing that really contributed to this was, I believe K Mega stated this, was when it came down to the reviews. And again, I don't deal with the numbers, but it was really interesting how in the review itself they talked about the core element of any video game, which is the gameplay loop, what you are interacting with, what you're doing in the game over and over again, and basically stating how that part of it, in their opinion, they didn't have too many good things to say about that. It was either clunky, it was bogged down, it was sloggy, or it was just straight up boring. And I feel like that right there is the thing that, when it comes down to it, the gameplay is what keeps you going, I think. Or it's one of the main points, anyway, that keeps you going. And then of course, it's the story and figuring out what's going on and stuff like that. And having...
I mean, it's nothing wrong with story, but people prioritize that stuff differently, right? Some people prioritize graphics over gameplay. Some people prioritize...
They're called graphic horrors, by the way.
Some people prioritize frame rate over anything else, when it can have really crappy latency. And, there's a lot of things that, people will prioritize and what they find value in, and that's tricky. But I mean, perfect example. I mean, Blaze brought it up. Mud runners. Obviously, wins gameplay every time it's on this podcast. People love that game, but there's a couple of people on this podcast that are not interested in that game.
Maybe a couple, maybe.
Yeah, but it wins gameplay every time, right? So, like, obviously, there's a market.
Yeah, I don't think it wins it because of the gameplay, though. I think it's created its own
Well,
stigma, man.
Okay, I'm sorry, my gameplay, but which convinced me to be on Mixer more because just people love seeing you play that game. But
I'm shaking my head at you right now, man. Yeah, I know you can't see it, but you could probably feel it right now.
Yeah, I can hear the rattling. It's all good. Let's keep it moving.
All right. Well, I think we all chimed in on that, right? Because there was a lot to be said there when it comes down to it. I'm looking at the time right now. Unfortunately, we didn't get into our Game of the Year predictions, and that might actually be a good thing because, Jedi Fallen Order has yet to come out. And the reason why I put that subject in was because I was like, man, all the big games are out now. I think we could start talking about, the GOTY, the Game of the Year. But I'm like, hold on, Jedi, this show kind of reminded me that Jedi Fallen Order hasn't come out yet. It hasn't gotten into the hands of most gamers out there, Don. So with that being said, I think we should hold that for a future discussion. We're looking at 2 hours, so I think we should cut it. I think we should cut the show for tonight. I am looking forward to EXO 2019. I'm trying to get some of these hoodlums on the panel together for a live reaction.
What day is that on?
Thursday.
Thursday, or is it on Friday?
I think it's Thursday. I believe it's Thursday. I'm gonna have to do.
Is it the 15th?
14th.
15th.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was the 14th.
I'll be at the office. So.
Well, we will talk about that. We will have a panel together on this channel for a live reaction of EXO 2019. I feel like the topics we went through, there was a bunch of opinions that were out there. I think I had a blast doing the show. I think it was a really great show. Everybody out there in the chat, let us know what you thought. But like a 40-year-old with a comb over, it is time to get the plugs in. And guys, this is amazing. I think we're ending a lot earlier than the last I don't even know how many shows. So
you're welcome.
Music, so.
All right, well, with that being said, let me go to Predator. You have done this enough. You know the drill. Let people know where they can go to talk games with you. Let them know, whatever you're up to, any shows you might be guest appearing on this week, man. You know the drill.
Predator, H2OS, pretty much everywhere, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, and I guess I'll see you guys next week. I don't know what I'm doing this week as far as shows go, but I'll definitely be here next Saturday.
All right, and I think we're going to take a couple of those topics and move them into next week as well. So I already know we are going to have a fire show next Saturday, and with that being said, we are going to move on to the gearhead himself, although he plays other games. Crispy, why don't you let people know, about your streaming ventures on Mixer, where they can go to talk games, and, I think by now, you know the drill, man.
At Crispy Bomb on Twitter, and, just, it's, for some reason, it's not coming up correct, but at Crispy Bomb, or Crispy Bomb 38 on Xbox Live. It's coming up with my old tag for some reason. Can't figure it out yet. So just wait for me to just tweet it out.
Oh, is that the old tag, the #1 Barbie fan? Is that one?
Oh, yeah, you know it, baby.
Brother. And K-Mega. Yeah, you definitely went in tonight, man. You definitely, as usual, you're always an opinionated gaming YouTuber. And I think you just solidified it once again tonight. Of course, you have GRG every Friday. You definitely got to let people know about that. An amazing gaming podcast where it does go left. And, of course, your channel and where people can go to talk games, brother.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, man. Check me out. Check out the GRG podcast last night. I was having some difficulties. I'll have to work on that and fix that because it was streaming other places that where it wasn't supposed to, but whatever. But regardless of that, and also another thing that I fixed because Don and other people was like, "Hey man, I'm trying to watch your stream," when I was streaming Need for Speed, and then it was like, man, and I looked and I checked and I was like, oh my god, I still got the old Beam Pro. So yeah, no, I changed that to the Mixer account to where it is the proper Mixer account or whatever. So you can check that out. I'm going to be probably streaming some Need for Speed tonight. I streamed some a game called Blessed. It's a MMO game from Namco Bandai. It's okay. It's not bad. So go check that stream out. And yeah, man, every Friday night the GRG podcast. And since I have some time off, I got some PTO. Whenever that they show the EXO event, I'll be here with Bot and we'll rep. So we'll definitely do that.
Nice.
So other than that, man, thanks for the support. Go sub everybody and support everybody that's a part of the next podcast and a part of the GRG podcast and GWG. Go support the ladies out there too doing their thing. So always keep that same energy. Stop being a fraud. And Chris, if you do not have that game in your possession, you shouldn't open your mouth.
Oh, damn. Yo, Mega, I might be interested in co-streaming on Mixer with you tonight for Need for Speed. So
I'm with it. What level are you now?
Dude, I gotta check. I don't even know what level. I just know I got chased by Heat level 4 cops, and they tore my ass up before I stopped my stream last night. Yeah,
that's cool. We might try to get Don to want to join us on here so I can get back and
all right,
try to
that's
play
it. I'm out then. I'm just playing.
Stop and then I can go in and play with him.
I got one more free game from EA, so I'll see.
Yeah, so you I'm a fraud, really? Wow.
Whoa.
Why don't you get up these sticks and see how much of a fraud I am, buddy?
The duel continues. The duel continues, man.
Yeah. Much love to Chris. Yeah, he's so messy. But yeah.
Dude, I love Chris. I made him a moderator on my channel, man. Come on.
Chris is a good dude. He just goes too left. People blocked him and
he
started
far left. Like he gender neutral left, man.
Don't go too far by trolling so much where you get people to block you. Don't do that.
I was on the verge at one point in time, but I'm like, man, it's Chris though. I can't do that, man.
Yeah. It's like, that little puppy that just don't stop urinating on your lawn. You know what I'm saying? Let him go.
Oh,
he got all that greenery and all them yellow spots right there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yo,
right
Don,
there.
I am so sorry to do this to you, but you're gonna have to follow that right now with what you're doing. And I believe, congratulations on the whole Mixer deal, man. That is really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a deal with a gamer last week too. Yeah. Damn, I'm slipped.
Whoa.
Things are happening. Yeah, definitely for sure. I didn't like to follow Urine, but yeah, best way to follow me is on Twitter. And everything's linked to that.
All right, nice. That's cool. So Twitter is like your hub for gaming community communication and whatnot. Yeah,
I mean, and follow me on Mixer and all that good stuff. And I'm gonna be playing about 5 or 10 minutes after the podcast. I'm probably am still going to be playing Ghost Recon, and I thought somebody said he was going to be playing.
I'm going to come on tonight. Right. I'm going to meet Speed first.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm all about promoting others on the Mixer channel. If you want to co-stream, whatever it may be, spending a lot of time there, and I'm definitely going to be spending a lot more time later, and there's some things that are going to be planned down the road.
Black Rider is going to eat lasagna. Yo, Z Black, where is mine, brother? That's all I want to say. Dude, that is a weakness of mine. Lasagna is absolutely amazing.
That's what I made for dinner tonight.
He likes that ricotta.
Rigot, man. That's what you say if you're Italian. But anyway, guys, as usual, it is Saturday night. The Gamers Got a Game. Huge shout out to everybody who came and joined us for this Saturday's show. Thank you so much for the support. Joe Hansel, thank you for coming in and letting us know this was your first time watching. I hope it's not going to be your last. I am going to be looking for you in the chat next Saturday, my brother. But as usual, the Gamers Got a Game. We got to get the controllers in our hands, and I am going to end the show the way I do every week, We will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Go Rams!
No Rams, man. What are you talking about Rams for, man?